hope you guys can hear me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, you guys, if you want to support the brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop. And we got everything. We got the latest drip, something original for you to add to your closet. Okay, my good people. What's really good, y'all? It's a good. See, this is what I'm talking about. I feel good today. We have a lot of topics to cover. There's a lot of crazy things going on as usual. But today I felt like, I wanted to start this off with, like some kind of like hip hop trivia. If you guys, let me know if you guys know the lyrics. Who sung the lyrics to this song? Excuse me, who rapped the lyrics to this? Okay. The sun don't shine forever, but as long as we here, we gonna make sure we shine together. You guys let me know if you know the artist who put that down. Deep lyrics, deep lyrics. Something for you to think about and something you gotta carry on in your life. So what I'm trying to do with this whole trivia, just trying to take lyrics that you can take those words and add to your everyday life. But man, there's so many things going on. I'm so happy to be here. We're all here, we're up, we're breathing. That means we made it, we're blessed. So you gotta thank God for that, the Most High, all right? You don't want to start off your day with the frowns. You gotta start off with smiles and feeling good. Hold on. Is this like kind of crooked, you guys? Why you ain't tell me nothing? There's a lot of things going on that I want to address, man. Okay, so let's just start it off like this. So some things that we missed that I didn't get to talk to you guys about was the feds. They did a sweep in Diddy's, I believe the facility, the prison facility that he's in, and it's because of the conditions of that facility. But you know what, you guys, I'm hearing from, the conditions of prisons and jails. I always felt like, I'm not a jailbird type person, but I always felt, if you're gonna do your time, let a person do their time. They don't have to, you know, go into hell, in other words. You know what I mean? Like, you could have those conditions doing a little better. So I'm hoping that, like, in one of my lives I said, Diddy, with all that money that he has, he should maybe try to, I don't know if he can use his money, most likely not, but in some way, somehow, try to fix those prison conditions, because people are getting sick. The food, we already heard about the food. I told you guys, there's so many, poisonous foods going on in just outside in society. You could just imagine, what they have in prison. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm hearing that they sweep this place. And yeah, we haven't had any word else on that. But just going into it, so I heard you. Let's just set it off, man. We heard, Ray J, and was involved in like a little. I would say, I wouldn't even say a fight, but let's just say a altercation, as far as like just back and forth beefing with Diddy's sons, and they're saying Chris Brown had to come in and break up, fix this whole situation. Now, what I took from it, when I heard, I heard different opinions on it. I heard, Hazel E, shouts out to Hazel E, talking on this whole situation. And what I got from it is, look, first of all, just I would give advice in these types of situations when it comes to this. Ray J and Diddy's sons, I don't know if it's Christian and Justin, I believe it is. First of all, go into these Halloween parties. I told you guys around this time there's going to be a lot of celebration with this Halloween stuff. There's going to be a lot of things going on. Who invited both parties to get there anyway? That was just like a mix that wasn't even supposed to happen in the first place. What's up, y'all? But when I look at that whole situation, it's looking like, Diddy's sons are expecting people to, I guess, stand in front and back Diddy because of, his former ties that he had with Diddy in the past. But what people are not really, or they're not getting out of this, is when you hear people saying that, there's nobody backing Diddy, or all his friends, they suddenly disappear, it's because of the charges that were placed upon Diddy. A lot of people didn't know that he was doing this behind the scenes. Now, the people that did know, they're the ones that's going to be involved in his case and all of this. But for his sons to just go out there and automatically think that, Ray J wasn't going to speak up or say anything on it, it's a little, it doesn't fit right with me, because it's just saying that, they're more saying that they want to see a whole bunch of celebrities back Diddy for his wrongs. And I think that's wrong. I think that if you're looking at it from that angle, you're saying that, you're looking at your celebrity to wash away what those victims went through. If you really sit down with it and thought to yourself, me personally, I can't tell people what to do, but I wouldn't have been the first one to go into a Halloween party. That just wouldn't have been my first, place I would be thinking of going, especially when you have other people there, other celebrities, and your father's going through what he's going through. It wouldn't be the best thing to just start going out. I'm not saying, stop going out or stop going to parties, but all I'm saying is, going out in these times where media has a extra eye out for your family as well as your father and just the people that surrounding this whole case, it wasn't the smartest thing for them to go out in the first place. So boom, they went out. Okay. So now when they go out there, they see that Ray J's there, and I'm hearing that they're the ones that approach Ray J. Ray J didn't even approach those people. So when you hear things like that, it seems like they're taking an aggressive approach towards this, and that's not the smartest thing to do. Just because, so what? You're gonna argue with somebody? Okay, so you see somebody's not backing your father, and you see that they're on their platform, they're speaking and telling their truth about your father or whatever they might have know. Because Ray J didn't even. If Ray J really wanted to tell what he really actually knows, we probably hear a lot more. So I don't even know why they went that direction, but boom, they did it. So if you're looking at it at that route and you're saying, okay, so I want these celebrities to back my father and wipe this whole thing away. You're looking at it in a sense of how people just wash away, their wrongs or pay off their wrongs. That's not, we have victims here. So in your case, I would say, and you know what? I wanna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you guys about Chris Brown, his whole allegations right after this, because something ain't fitting right with that whole Chris Brown. So let's get right back into the Diddy. So now you approach Ray J, and what do you want to get out of that? So you want a person that went on his platform and spoke his truth. You want him to turn around now and say, you know what? Let's back Diddy. For what? For what? For what? Don't expect people to back with charges like that. I could understand if it's something to do with like a self-defense issue or something he had beef in the industry and now you want those people to back you. But this is not the case. This is a real life issue where people are victims of sexual abuse and also drug and sex trafficking. Nobody's going to stick their toe in between this situation because they can find themselves doing time just like Diddy. So if you're not understanding of that, I can't expect you to understand how serious this case actually is. This is not a pay your way out of type of situation. And people are not understanding that. And it's obvious that Diddy's kids don't see it that way. It's sad, and it's at the same point, it's an eye opener to let you know that the things that you think are gonna, like I'm not, and I don't want to stay on the money because it's way beyond money now. Now it boils down to morals and understanding how you take in things and how you find out your understanding. You can't just, it's just like, and I understand why they can fall into that mindset. It's because allegedly, you guys remember when they said there was some kind of shooting in like Diddy's house and he allegedly shot somebody in there and the kids were in there and they covered it up and a whole bunch of stuff we heard. But if that is the case and there's some truth to that, because there were cops called and paper, we just don't know who actually did it or if it was in self-defense. If they see their father always paying their way out and seeing him always get away with things, then that type of mindset sit with them and think that this situation they can wiggle their way out of too, which is wrong because the FBI and regular authorities, it's a two different types of situation. You're dealing with the same people that's arresting you will be the same people that will be in those courts. Everybody, it's a whole. The FBI is a whole unit. Whereas if it's an individual crime being caused in the street, that's when you see police. It's not that. And they're looking at it like, I feel in my heart, I feel like they just feel like they can just wash it away. And that's not the way to look at it. And I feel like they should really stay out of the party, stay out of the light until they find some kind of, at least up until what it's May 2025, that the sentencing will be. So in between this fight, they should at least, Diddy's lawyers should be at least talking to them as well, letting them know that, it's not the best thing to do to, go around people that's been speaking on your father because they might, get yourself together and start thinking so that you won't make this situation worse than it already is. Because all we know is there's more people involved, there's more celebrities involved. They don't know what celebrities have been contacted by the feds. So why are they talking to people at this time? It should be no party, and it should just family speaking about those family issues inside the house, off of social media, and you guys are the ones that's supposed to back Diddy. Don't expect anybody else besides your family to go out there, and don't try to approach people with that aggressive stuff, because we see in these times where that gets you. Being aggressive and all that stuff, it doesn't say too much as far as you just thinking on with a sharper mental. All it says is that you blow it, you lose it, and you snap very easily, just like your father. Don't fall into the same shoes that your father been walking. It's that walk of deception that's gonna make you guys don't understand what life is actually all about. You do not want to lose yourself thinking like how your father did, and how do you guys still hear me? If you're there, could you guys still hear me? Let me see. You know how they be trying to do that. Hold on, let me make sure you guys are still here. Hold on. Um, okay, hold on. Cause we will get this thing. We'll keep this thing keep going. Hold on. Okay, so yeah. Let me see if you guys hear me. Okay, hold on. Let's see if this is. Can you guys hear me? Let me see. Okay, so could you guys hear me? Let me see. All right, I got it. Okay, so could you guys hear me? Okay, so y'all could hear me. Okay, cool. Let's get back into it. So yeah, healing energy going out to I want to give the 49ers, yeah, Charvarius Ward, his 1-year-old daughter, she passes away. Situations like that, around the world, that's when we all pray and come together, because you never know in these times what can go on. Families are going through it. It makes no sense of not, sending that healing energy out to people that really need it, because you never know. You never know. One day it could be a turn. You need that healing energy for yourself. So I always send some good energy out. Now, what I wanted to talk about is Chris Brown. Now, the way Chris Brown approached that situation, and just as far as jumping in between Ray J and Diddy and Diddy's sons, it shows it's telling, because when I heard the Chris Brown story about how that female put out allegations on him, it felt so weird to me. And that energy is not matching up to the person that I'm seeing. And I feel like I don't know I don't want to cross out people's allegations, but I just feel like some of these allegations people are putting out, some of them for the money, some of them, they might have been in these situations with these people, but it didn't go as far as they say it has. And I just don't feel in this point in time Chris Brown would just lose and throw away his career and go do that to somebody. And just because he did have wrongs in the past, but it's not to say that he's just on living a life like Diddy. I just don't feel like Chris Brown is doing that. So when you're putting these allegations out there, just make sure you have the proper evidence before you tell the story. Make sure you have evidence. If you don't have that, don't bring it to social media, because people's lives are in jeopardy, people's careers, and I don't feel like it's right. I just don't feel like that matched up. I could be wrong, but it just didn't feel like, her story. It just didn't feel. So don't just feel, you know, don't think celebrities don't go through their stuff too. A lot. It's just like owning your own business. People want to sue you and they want to get money out of you because they think that you have more than you have, or what you have. They even if you have a lot more, it doesn't say that somebody should come along and just sue you. We see a lot of lawsuits. People are just going for the money, and those type of people that think that way are the worst types of people, because all they can see is the money. They don't see the hard work you put in to get whatever you have, or to the hard work you put in to even sustain what you have, and they're ready to take it away or take your life, and it's not right. People are moving on this type of energy that we can't. I can't sit and say that you want you feel safe or you're not on eggshells because other people are thinking like this. I know people think like this, so you have to always be prepared. And everybody in these times should pick up some kind of street smarts. I don't care if you're not from the streets. If you want to learn things that we go through as far as people that's coming from different places that's a little more aggressive, I think that everybody should pick up some kind of notes and understand that within those street smarts comes a lot. It comes up with morals. People know how to read people and being on point, because in these times, just knowing how to read a person, you can say, you know, that person's lying. I don't feel that situation, instead of looking at a headline and saying it's true. You have to, you know, and it's not crossing anybody out if anybody wants to bring their allegations, if they have true allegations, but it's just saying that go about what you're doing the right way. Don't just throw people's name in the mix and try to throw dirt on people's name, because sometimes it could backfire on you. Don't be that way. Trust me, y'all. Number two, oh my goodness, man. I'm just gonna leap over this. Dwayne Wade's statue. I just feel like, you know, whoever makes these statues, let's not just keep it on Dwayne, his statue, because there's a lot of people in the past that they have made statues for that it just doesn't look like the person. I just feel like we can do better than that. In these times, we can make, and it's no disrespect to the person that built the statue, because you know what? I can't say that because I don't really know how statues are made. So I have to look into that. Now, I really do want to, I'm going to look into that. But even if the statue came with like some kind of just more resemblance, it would feel better. But just congratulations that you got a statue. But I just feel like, you know, we can get to a better place where the statues more look like the person. We can get there. Another thing that popped up, I don't, you know, I have big respect for Wu-Tang Clan. Let me start it off like that. I have big respect for the Wu, to everybody in the Wu. But this did come across, and maybe I felt like I could shed some light on it if it is possibly true, or maybe if people want to see it from a different angle, I maybe could try to throw something at you. Now, what I heard, I was reading something on Ghostface Killer's son, and he was speaking out on their, you know, just their relationship and the dynamics they had from father to son, son to father. And it didn't seem like it was always the best in his claims. But what I could say when it comes to that dynamic, you know, everybody, you have to first, before you point the finger at anybody, you have to know, I understand, the way I understand it and the way I see it is you have to know the person that you're talking about. Once you fully understand who your father is, you get to know that person, whether his treatment towards you might not be the way you want it to be, or he might not be there as much for you. Once you get to know the person, then you start to break down how you're going to evaluate and try to approach this, instead of just taking it always like this to social media, because these family issues could be resolved. They're not the worst. Okay, yeah, I feel like the whole argument is not, it's commitment, time being there, just, and these might have been things that, if you understand your father, these might be things that he might have a problem with in his life, as before you even got there. He might have had these problems on his upbringing. So you have to really, when you see the dynamics of some family, sometimes you got to go a little further back than the person that you're trying to break down, and see where all of that energy comes from, and start to realize that this person might not be able to break out of that. Let me be the one to break out of that, because they can't see it, but they might have to see it through me and through my actions and the way I move, and that might could help them out. So I hope they can get that you know, that family dynamic back together and have some better understanding, because that's sometimes just how it is. Not everybody's perfect, and not everybody's family is like Bill the Cosbys. You know what I mean? Some people's family are learning just as they go, just like myself. You know, like not everybody's just like all. Like not everybody has the once a year family reunions where everybody come down and have the biggest barbecue of their life and everybody's just enjoying themselves. Some families, they huddle up in different patches of us, and we just thank God for the times that we have. And the closest ones we have in these little circles that we have as families are how we share our love, and that's how it goes around and keeps the family built. It's not always everybody getting together. Some families can't even get together without a fight or two or something going down. This we know in our culture, but we have to look past that cookie cut social media representation of what a black family or black culture is supposed to be. And then you have some understanding that we are all different, but we can come together. And I want to explain to you guys the reason why a lot of black people don't trust other black people, or don't, you see a lot of people don't buy into other black people, is because a lot of us seen what could go wrong when the wrong black person's in position. And that's, we have to get out of that too. I just feel as a culture, we have to get out of that. It's going to take a long fight for that, but we have to get out of looking at each other like we enemies, because that doesn't lead to anything. It gives a false description, and it takes away from you actually seeing the truth and knowing how to read a person correctly. You're seeing somebody for what your mind is telling you, but it's not really reading it right. So that's gonna, if you don't, if the more you do that, the more you tend to like see things and read things wrong in everything you do, you know? And I want to send a little message for all the rappers and everybody coming up. Shouts out to Glorilla. She's like one of my new favorites. Just her energy is good. I feel like she's truthful. I feel like, you know, that's her penmanship. She's writing her stuff. Maybe she gets a little help with some hooks, but her heart is in it to do it. And that's what I love about her. So I just hope she has a good journey, because this game could be so brutal. And for the other up and coming rappers, when you want to present yourself, don't start with your struggle anymore. Those stories been told so long. Start with how you see the world to be as it is going down now, because a lot of us that's a little old school to you guys, what we try to tell you guys and what y'all are not understanding is the things that's about to happen, or we might could just take a guess at what's happening next. The reason why it's not that we know it all, it's the fact that it's a pattern of certain types of behaviors from certain people we've seen before. So if we can help you with that and throw something in the way, that's what, when we try to give you that warning signal. But in these times, the things that's happening are so technical, as far as things that we're experiencing, like fraud at its highest, crime at its highest, smash and grabs, all this stuff is still new to us too, because the morals are wiped out of these things, and the direction is just aimed in the wrong way. And when I mean direction, I mean like as far as the youth going at adults, hurting older folks and things like that. You can see the level of disrespect has been wiped away from the level of how much people want money and to prosper and do whatever they have to do. That's not the right mentality of going about it. I might not have the biggest company, and you might see a lot of other companies trying to, you know, copy my designs because I come with originality. But it doesn't stop me from going ahead and moving as a smaller business. It doesn't stop me. It keeps me going. It keeps the fire lit for me to get in tune with people that respect and understand what originality is. So when a person buys into originality, I always feel like they got the best out of their buck. And that's what makes me, I might not sell as much as everybody, but when I do sell my little pieces here and there, it means a whole lot to the person that's buying it, as well as myself. And I feel as the world keeps going and going and going, people will more directly just stick to the things they love doing. You see, like, everybody just doing everything because they just want to bring in some kind of income. Eventually that will fall away, and you'll eventually fall into the place where you feel most comfortable. And that's where I am. I'm not in a place where I'm hurting for money, but in a place where money would be a benefit and would benefit the people that I support and the people that support me. So I'm trying to build a community of people, and as hard as it might look and as hard as it may seem, as the numbers keep growing, that is what makes me keep going, because there's so many people out here just are my own people. Before, you know, there's a lot of good people online. There's like a lot of good people that I watch that give me shout outs and things like that, and they know that it helps the channel. They know that just those little kind words could help a smaller content creator. And I read those people. I read their hearts. That's why I always support their channels, share their videos. But then you have another set of people where they look at it like this is more a hustle to them, and this is more I gotta get it, a saving, you know, and those are the people that they'll do anything to get it. I try to stay away from those type of content creators, and because that's what hurts hip hop in these times. Hip hop has been full of right now of hustlers just trying to get it. This is an opportunity to make the best of the situation and bring your family out, right? But when they get the money, it's not like they're doing something towards the family. They're doing something more towards their image and towards what people want to see them as. And that's where we have to switch that cycle of the wrong mindset. You don't have to to be the guy with the most diamonds doesn't make you the best rapper. And I want people to understand that. When you get the diamonds and all that stuff, that is usually the point where it's celebration and you already got the claim to fame and people know who you are. But if you put that stuff in front of you before we even know your story, it's blinding to the people that want to get to know you. We already see what you love, we already see what you like, but now when it's time to understand you as a person, that's what's get blinded. And I think a lot of artists, they lose themselves in these little points because of just the fact that you have to, in these times, it's like you have to come with everything you have and be that full package on social media because social media is painting this perfect picture. But if you sit back and show people more of your flaws and the stuff that makes you, these are the reason why certain artists, they rise above others because their flaws are the things that really sat with people and they felt connected to. And those same flaws are that the people, the artist might get past those flaws before the people that's looking up to the artist, and then those people get past it, and that's when the inspiration collides with that connection, and then that's what makes it all worth it. So when you're putting words out there, your music out there, make sure that even if you're talking to one person or a million people, that that message that you're putting into that music hits them and is very clear for them to understand, whether it's club music, whether it's love music, whether it's even in a rival sense of just like a battle sense or like a competitive sense. You make sure that what you're putting out there is the truthful, and that's what resonates with the true artists and make them who they are. And that's it. If you guys don't miss it, you guys, I put a video out on Public Enemy on the Fight the Power movement, and it meant so much for hip hop. We need more of that, and that's when we start creating this balance. The more we break the scale on more people wanting to do good, speak good on people, pull out the truth, that's the more you will see how hip hop and all music will change. But hey, blessings to y'all, man. I hope y'all are enjoying the day. I'm still going. I still got a lot more for you guys. Another thing that I wanted to bring to the table too. This, I wanted to bring a different dynamic with this Kendrick and Drake. This whole type of situation when people are looking to see something out of the artist before the artist even put it out. That is the wrong way of looking at hip hop. In these times, when you see an artist coming up, look at the artist that's gonna help put their hand out and say, because all of these artists have the same lens as far as they seeing what's going on in our communities. So if you see an artist come into your community, maybe doing some music in your community club, or maybe even just throwing parties in it, those are artists that's they looking out and saying, you know what? Because when an artist comes to your community, it helps out the community too. As far as if the artist brings like everybody together, even if they leaving y'all with just inspiration, you had to pay for them tickets. You don't leave there on the same mindset where everybody else, what they want to do this shooting and this going back and forth stuff. Don't you know how many I see? You know how many dope artists I've been looking and you listen to me. How many dope artists is in Chicago that's not drilling? This people don't even know that because every time they're looking at Chicago, they're looking for drill, drill, drill. You know how many dope artists is in Chicago that's not drill music, or just taking the drill beat and putting different substance on top of it? There's so many, man. There's so many that people could more put in the forefront. When it came, this whole thing with Lil Durk, now I'm hearing, this is the scariest part about it. And I don't like this part, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I don't like it. The death penalty. When they say Lil Durk is facing the death penalty, this is when it gets really, really scary. Because it says to me, and I'm not saying I'm against it or not, because certain people, they do so many horrific things that it makes it like almost like the chair got their name on it. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about saying he's facing the death penalty. Now, us, as everybody else looking out from the outside looking in, we know Chicago was facing this problem from a long time. This is not something new. So their mindset when it comes down to war, their mindset when it comes down to that is all they know. So we can't just judge them like they're terrorists. They're not terrorists. It's that the beef, they have an ongoing beef that they can't seem to settle with different parts of people, that, and that's the only way they know how to resolve their problems. So when now they take this violence, now if a Chicago rapper takes that violence outside of that now, and they go in other places, whether it's Texas, whether it's wherever they go, they're gonna be looked at like that demon. And even though as fans, you see the growth in Durk, and we see him trying to fight through it, and he switched his, he went to he's a Muslim like his father, and he's switching it around. We still see that there's a hand still pulling you, and the reason why that hand is pulling you is because you can't be good and bad at the same time. You can't look. I'm gonna break down something that's deep that people are not realizing. With a Rico, if you have, okay, say you have a whole crew of people, right? Nobody in that crew can own a clothing line. If you have an LLC, right, and and somebody in that crew is doing any drilling, shooting, that company and is gonna get pulled away too. It's just like Diddy. Anything that is bringing money into an establishment and they're using that money to fund any criminal activities, it warrants that. It's not just because they're rappers, it's that they're working rappers. And the money is, they can fund these types of situations. That's when you get the murder for hire and you get things like that. Don't you see? This is different. We see it all the time. It's the difference between a wife trying to kill her husband or trying to set her husband up or pay somebody to kill her husband. The difference in between that is a few dollars, or maybe even if she's rich and she's paying the guy. That's a one-on-one. That can be caught so quickly and stopped so quickly. When you have a crew of people doing different crimes, if you grab one person, the establishment is still moving, and that's where the Rico comes in. It's not just about the mafia, it's more about the establishment, the system put in place to fund you guys to get these weapons or whatever you got going for yourself. And that's why they pull everybody in to stop that. So if you have a LLC or you have any business and you're attached to anybody that's doing this type, the Rico is going to pull everybody in. You can't have a YouTube page and doing this. These are all businesses that's attached to you. So whoever's attached to that and whatever's funding you to get this money, they're going to try to pull them in. And that's how it goes. So when you hear somebody facing the death penalty, that's how they're looking at you. I always told you, they're looking at people like that, shooting each other and not caring and moving on with their life as terrorists. You understand? So when you go out there and you have that face description of that, and you're in these places, they're not gonna. It's time for you to end up in court, you're not gonna get the best fit. It's sad. Whether he was changing his life or not in his heart, we would never know that. That's between him and God. And that's how we can't really judge it on, because okay, boom. The flip side of that is there was somebody that got killed, and in between all of this violence that's been going on, there's a lot of people that got killed, and there are a lot of families that's, I don't know who's, even if they were participating in it, whether they got the bad end of the stick, at the end of the day, people passed away and there's still hurting out there, and that same hurt is what breeds people to keep this violence going on and on and on and on. And that's the problem. And I hope that the authorities and the federal and, FBI really take a look at everybody. If they're looking at different places, if they look at New York, keep a different type of lens. If they're looking at Chicago, keep a different type of lens, because it's different type of crimes and different type of energy that feuds this stuff. In New York, we don't get a lot of, it's not really a lot of retaliation, or you're not really born into a gang. It's not really a lot of that here. It's a lot of individuality, and it's a lot of more option of you choosing, do you want to be a part of this? Whether if it's people that grew up in your school, whether it's a crew that turned into that, you still have those choices of, do I want to be a part of this, or do I just want to stick it out solo dolo? It's so many ways you can maneuver yourself as just coming up in places where it's aggressive. You don't always got to be the person to jump into a gang. I made my mistakes when I was younger, thinking that, I needed to jump into a whole crew of people. And I knew most of the people anyway. They were mostly friends. But at the same point, I caught myself at an early age saying, you know what? I'm better off. My better fight will be for the people that I know that actually love me. I was thinking that at that age because I was already dealing with already issues at home. So I knew what that came first for me. That whole, having people that's gonna hold you down. So once you get that type of mindset, you keep building on it. You see those things, it's not really worth it. It's not really worth it. It's always good to have a few friends that you can count on. But when it comes down to having a whole set of crew of people in these times, that you're gonna find yourself speaking to Rico. Rico, he don't care about nobody. He coming through and he's taking in everybody. You don't want to fall victim to that stuff. What else we got here? Let me see something. Hold on. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk to y'all. Did y'all see and hear what happened to Tekashi? So the boy get arrested. He comes out here, he gets arrested in New York. And now they test inside of him. He had meth in his body. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. First of all, Tekashi started with telling on the crew and to get himself out of prison. And then after that, he goes and picks up a lifestyle. I believe he went, I don't know if it was Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic, one of these places, and he picks up an addiction. Now the addiction is strong enough to have him getting these little crime cases and all these things circling around him, and all of this attention, all from this time all the way up, he's used to this big spotlight attention. So he's taking this attention, and it's the same thing with Diddy. He's not realizing that one day this can put yourself in the same problems that you first started or tried to run from. And he finds himself in the same, and he's back in, look, you see what cycle it is? It's the addiction, and number one, the people that you're around. And now you got meth inside of your body. No matter if you're free or not free, you're still locked. That addiction, meth, that addiction puts you in prison no matter where you go. You're living in a prison when that captures your mind. So it doesn't matter if they put you in prison or you're behind bars or outside of the bars. You're always going to have a prison mentality using those types of drugs. Those are heavy drugs that kill people. And you're old enough to know about all the people that passed, from Mac Miller, all these good artists that passed away due to these same mistakes. You're old enough to know that's not stuff for you. But no matter what, the people around you, they know that the more you're on that stuff, the more money they get for themselves or for you. You're a dummy. And now you end up in prison with the real people in there that really has the real problems. And now you're going to find yourself with the same people that you told on. It don't make no sense. The reason why it don't make no sense is because he's not making sense. He never found out who he was. He never found out who he was. He never really reached into his culture. He never really brought Mexicans and bigged them up the way they wanted to be lifted up in the hip hop culture. He could have did that. He could have brought his culture after all of this nonsense. And he could have brought the fact that Mexican gangs, they have a more structured gang. He could have schooled people on so many ways he could have took it. But what he chose to do, he stuck to the party route and just numb himself up with the meth. And that's the reason why he's going to be in prison. By the time he's sober up, it's like, Diddy, where am I at? You know where you at. You're the same place. Come on now, man. These types of mistakes are self-inflicted, that the same people are making these same mistakes. The same mistakes. And a lot of these people, they think that, because they have a lot of money, they can pay it off. That's not the case. That is not the case. When you have a lot of money, when you go dig in the bag and think you want to give this amount, they're like, this. They want the whole bag, your whole thing. They don't want just how much you're going to peel off and give them. No, they feel like they're in charge of the whole thing, being that you're doing wrong with it, or doing crime with it, or buying drugs and all this nonsense with it. And that's the reason why people get all of their stuff wiped away from them. It's sad, but at the end of the day, it's your smarts, your intelligence that make you have to hold the money. Yeah, somebody could throw a big bag of money at you, but if you don't know what's going to happen or what to do with the bag, then that bag, you might as well just throw it back and give it back to him. Because you can put yourself in a position where you can be hurt because you don't know how to deal with stuff. Come on, man. These types of situations, you don't want to find. And what I tell you, around the holidays, I see it all the time. Some weird stuff always happen around the holidays, man. It's like people's mind is, they start thinking a little, this is the time when they start thinking a little bit ahead, and it just drives them crazy because they might think too much. They want too much out of what's coming ahead, and they're not prepped for it. It happens all the time. You don't see it? Just relax yourself and see how these idiots are out here. You tell them don't do this, don't do that. They do more of it, double more. They double it up because that's how much pain they're going through. They don't know how to solve their problems. Don't promote your problems out to the youth looking up, because they right now the youth eyes and ears are open and they're looking for different outlets. They're not just looking to be that drill rapper. Trust when I tell you, I have my eyes and ears to the streets. They are looking for other things as far as technology, as far as gaming. These are so many different fields that the youth are looking up to. It's not just out there. They see entertainment is bringing in the money, but they're also seeing that the entertainment, it has a dark side to it. And the youth is opening their eyes up to that at an early age, and I'm happy for that. Because when we was coming up, we didn't know at an early age how dark it could get. We didn't know. We didn't know that at all. So now that the youth, since there is social media and everybody, sees everything, at least when they see something, let them see something that's truthful and see the outcomes of all of these situations. And then we can have a better judgment. So when you see these like, people don't even understand when you go to these prisons and you end up in these prisons, like the federal prisons and things like that. You don't see, it's not the safest environments just because you have money. All of that stuff that protects you on the outside is not the stuff that can protect you on the inside. Inside, yeah, you could pay a few people here and there, but then after a while you become a plate. Yeah, you gave him the money, but he's over there jealous that you gave him the money. Now you're playing this game of here, 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 and now you're lunch meat. Come on, we know what the situation is, man. And now and you think in prison they don't know what's going on in the news? They're reading that Diddy was sleeping with boys, this and that, this, and they're like, wait, hold on, you sleeping with 10-year-olds? Why don't you sleep with Bubba right down there? It's crazy. You don't know what's going on. So as far as his kids going out here and try to protect him, on the outside, they need to really concentrate on him on the inside and make sure that the people in the surroundings around that guy, because of the things he did, can get himself in trouble. Good morning, y'all. Much love. You already know. Could you hear me good, though? Because it cut off before. You can hear me? All right, that's love. That's love. I know. Okay. No, for real. And to be honest, y'all, from just the outside looking in with this whole celebrity stuff, I would think more of us will wake up to the point and say, you know what? I don't want to get love like that. I don't want to love like that or get into these type. Like, I don't know how they think. It's like they think for the fame. Like, if I was Christian and Justin, why would I go to a Halloween party now? And to the person that's sending them the invite, knowing that they're inviting all parties, they know what's going to go down at that party. They know. Come on. Like, there's no other parties for celebrities to go to. But they only got about 3 or 4 picks to go to. I mean, throw your own party. Like, for real. Like, don't get crazy, because and parties is, and throwing parties and going to parties ain't been the best thing for you and your father, and so I would slow down in the parties, man. Parties is what got his behind in prison. Too much partying. It's like, come on, man. That's something they should have skipped on that. There's a lot, to be honest with you, I know it's a push and it might not ever happen, but I really want to hear from Miss Wallace. I really want to hear from Miss Wallace. There's been a lot said. I've seen Freddie talking on Freddie P he's back on Art of Dialogue. I believe they're up to their 2nd episode. I caught the 1st and 2nd one. I'm not sure if they're on their 3rd. But he was just talking about, the book that they had. They was, speaking on Diddy about, Kim Porter, her memoir. He was saying that, a lot of that stuff seems true. And a lot of the people that were saying that it wasn't true had a lot to cover up for it. And yeah, I felt like, he was sharp on that one, I would say. Because, sometimes the truth is it's in the middle, and there's a whole bunch of lies around it, and you just gotta kind of figure it out for yourself. But I heard another thing too. You know, I hear things. I heard, and this is just allegedly, I heard that Adele was at his parties. And I love Adele as far as her singing and stuff, but I never knew her lifestyle. I can't tell you that I've seen her or follow her on social media to know, you know, what type of person she is in person. So I don't want to say, but allegedly she was at Diddy's parties too. So there's a lot of people involved with big names, and things have been, you know, it's been going down. It's been going down. You'd be surprised how many people are involved before all of this. I feel like after this election, you know, the elections on. Did you guys vote? Yes, yes, I'd seen the same thing. Oh, you didn't vote yet? But yeah, I seen the same thing. That guy, you know, that's I try to read people from what they, you know, what they like, just their sense of how they took it, and the way he didn't. It didn't feel like he came about it in a. He did have his friction with her, but what he always, I feel like his whole argument was, I just wanted you guys to see how she was outside of social media and her performance. And I wanted to let you guys, that you can always tell when somebody is trying to let you know about the real person. Like, I know who you guys like. I understand who you guys love. But I'm trying to tell you, the person that you love, when the cameras are off, they're this person. And it's like, wow. So I'm waiting to see, you know, maybe, I don't, I'm not going to say it's true or not. Who am I to say that? But it just sounded really crazy. It sounds like a lot of people that's quiet know way more than we think they do. And where does that get you? Like, where does that, what? And when they say, like, you know, I see a lot of people saying, oh, 120, it's so many people, you know. And I'm not saying it's not a lot of people, but you know, when you're living that lifestyle and that you're coming in encounter with a lot of people, females, he's males and females for the guy. So you know, it's not like Diddy just blew up yesterday. You know, the guy blew up in the '90s. People are not realizing that. Like, the guy had money from the '90s. So these little things that were going on behind the scenes has grown, and he has perfected it, and find different ways of, you know, covering up for it all these years. So just expecting it not to be, you know, to be surprised that something that you're hearing now, it's not really the shocking thing about it. It's just the only thing shocking at this point would be the names that's involved that actually, you know, went before all of this stuff. That's the part that's scary. But yeah, man, I just feel like it's crazy out there, the way that everything is turning out, and I feel like it's gonna be way more celebrities. Of course there is. Come on now. Let's not just think that Diddy's the only monster in the music industry. Nah, I don't think so. I think it's a lot more other people. I mean, we seen R. Kelly, and or even R. Kelly said from his, he's like, it's gonna be more people because the roundup is crazy, and let's just not think it's just hip hop. It's also the movies. You know, there's actors out there that we've seen time and time again fall into these situations. So it's not just hip hop. It's not just hip hop. It's really under the entertainment umbrella. It's that in order for you to show your light to the world, these are sacrifices and things that you have to go through to get to these points, and it's ridiculous. Nobody, let me tell you how it's going to go. It's going to end up, the direct people to people is going to be the best way of connecting with your fans. And that's the reason why you know, I see it, I feel like a little energy, like people had like a little, and it's hard to give Beyonce some bad energy, ain't it? But I feel like people had like a little pick at her because of that speech. And you know what I would say to those people, what we're understanding is Beyonce's connection on social media is more as not advertised, but just she doesn't like jump on live and just start talking to people. And I feel like people want that connection with everybody. Not everybody's like that. Not everybody can throw themselves on social media where you can connect to them. But what they do is they stand for the things that they really, you know, hold dear behind the scenes, and you should take it for that. But I felt like a little friction towards it. It's like you can't always think that people's gonna get things right all the time. Sometimes in these, especially when it comes down to political and elections and things like that, these are important times. And beyond how you feel, if this is that or that is this, it's still a moment in history. And that is something that we can't wipe away. She stood on those stages, and she stood in a time where history, we might see a change right now. So I ain't knocking nobody, and I'm not pointing the finger unless I know the right information. But I felt like there was a little friction towards B, and it shouldn't be that way because she's doing the best that she can. People always say Queen be this, Queen be that, but like you gotta understand, she's a human being too. She has a family, and sometimes the people make up a whole bunch of nonsense and like this whole superficial thing about her just because they're not as connected on social media. It doesn't make nobody, and I feel for the celebrities that made it to these heights and gotta like dip around like how Michael Jackson had to live his life almost putting a cover over his face. But at the same point, it's almost like you can break away from that the more you connect to people, let people know that lot, like even alive, like, it's ways of breaking away from that and letting people know I'm human too. Come on, y'all. Like, please. So, I looked at that, and oh, shouts out to the Yanks. Yankees, man, I gotta say that two dope teams going at it, but I'm glad that they took the win. And yeah, man, NYC. I'm hoping the next game they take that one too. But not the biggest baseball fan in these times. I used to be a big baseball fan, even played it in my youth. But I just kind of, as I grew, sports kind of got away from me a little bit. But I'm getting back in there. Here and there, I'm checking things out. Another ex-NFL star, Antonio Brown, he went bankrupt. And, I believe his first deal was like $80 million. But you'll be surprised how quick somebody can go bankrupt. And you won't believe why. Jewelry, y'all. The diamonds are shining. The diamonds are shining. This is the trick of, look, listen. Okay, it started off so he met this guy, he was hanging out with Floyd Mayweather. Number one, Floyd Mayweather is big balling. I'm talking about the money it keeps rolling, y'all. It keeps rolling. So trying to keep up with Floyd Mayweather, you already took a loss. Even if he's hanging out with Mayweather, he's in a private jet, and there's a guy from Dubai that probably always deals with Mayweather, maybe jeweler, and he's always, just showing him the new looks and maybe some things he might want to buy. He sees him with him, the ex-football player, and realizes, wait, do you want, to wear one of the diamonds or something, and maybe, you can make some money, on social media, show it to the people, and if they make sales, he probably get a profit. I don't know how they work out their things with the jeweler. I know sometimes I heard that the jewelers give them maybe some free jewelry, like if they go to a award show or something, you might have to return your chain or whatever, but they'll give you something free for just promoting them. Things like that goes, along with the whole celebrity and just having people look like something they're not. But okay. So he goes up there and he's trying to keep up with Floyd Mayweather. And I'm hearing that, the jeweler, I guess after the fact, asks back for his jewelry. You know how this story goes. He said his cousin, I believe, had it or something like that. And then he goes into something else like he can't find it. So this turns into a lawsuit, you guys. And what people don't understand, like I told you before, I used to work in the diamond district. I used to deliver diamonds from different, store to store, jeweler to jeweler type of situation. And there's a big responsibility in that because you're dealing with people's jewelry that's worth millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now you find yourself in a lawsuit. At the end of the lawsuit, I believe it was something like 1.3 and or something like that. It turned out that the money that he first started with, he's been spending that, he was so in debt, and this is like the thing that tipped over the cup, And I look at it like, all of this for what? Like, if you made it to that point where you're making $80 million, I'm not going to be the guy with the biggest of diamonds all over the place. No, $80 million, you got to know that. Look at Diddy. He had $1 billion, and his empire is crumbling and crumbling and crumbling. In these times, do right with your money. It's not to say don't get any diamonds, but just, if you can't afford it, tell that man, yo, I don't want to do this offer or something, because this is way too much. If I lose these diamonds, I owe and I can't pay that, or whatever. You're not in the right place of keeping up with Mayweather and things like that. Mayweather loses some jewelry, he throw the jeweler some extra bucks for it. But he's earned it to that point where that's his lifestyle. Trying to keep up with other people's lifestyle can find yourself in a place where you're not only bankrupt, but you start losing yourself within it. Like, come on now. You don't want, when you really think back, and $80 million they off, you got that. I don't know how much you took out of that, but $80 million, let's say 80, and at the end of the road, you have nothing to show for it. That makes no sense at all, at all. These jewelers are going to keep getting paid every single time, you guys. It's not like diamonds are always, it's kind of like a cycle. People are attracted to the shiniest things, and diamonds they're beautiful. And sometimes people that have money, it's kind of like potato chips. You can't just get one. They got to get more and more and more. But the more you keep getting, you start realizing your money it's dropping. It is dropping, man. To keep up with that stuff you got to have a better lifestyle to fit that type of stuff, or at least a business that's bringing in something, that's constantly bringing in where you can indulge in that type of hobby. But that ain't the best thing, man. It's not like, you never hear somebody passed away and their diamonds they gave their diamonds over to their family, man. These things get lost in time, y'all. Don't fall for these type of tricks, man. These things get lost in time. They never fit up as long as what you did or you made people feel. Those are the real diamonds that people can keep inside of them, and they have that forever. Not just going out there because, boom, you lose it, you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, why are you even wearing it or trying to show yourself that, show people that you acting like you're Mayweather? Mayweather could afford it. So when you see Mayweather in something nice, it shouldn't trigger you to say, I want that chain. No, it should trigger you to say, okay, let me try to maybe upgrade my money or do something financially to get more. But you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, in other words. And trying to do that, we all know where that leads. You end up nowhere. It makes no sense, man. A lot of people fall into that cycle. They fall into that cycle, y'all. You'd be surprised how a lot of the most stylish people, especially when it comes to entertainment or fashion, it's not really about diamonds. The most stylish people know how to put their drip together. They know how to dress in their energy. They know how to present themselves where when people see them, they stand out in a way where it doesn't have to be like a grabbing people's attention. It's more like, no, people are attracted to it. It's a difference. Now people got to find the difference between that. Your confidence is your diamond when it comes down to dressing. That's the real diamond in it, man. And there's nothing wrong with having a few diamonds, but if you can't afford them, why just ignore them until you could? Sheesh. Don't you know accessories you can do? You can get some nice accessories and still get in these places wherever you want to feel like you're most comfortable and still stand out and have people questioning you and loving your style. You can go out there and do better than that. There's a lot of other ways you can do it. It doesn't necessarily mean the person that spends the most on their outfit has the best outfit of the night. That's not true at all. It's the person that wears that outfit in the right way and that person in the outfit that makes the outfit what it is. These people are, you can't go with that backwards mindset. You are the person that's putting the shine, and you are the person that's making everything glow. Everything else is just accessory. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that Chris Brown, because I just don't. And I know he's been in things in the past, but that last one, it don't feel, something about that don't feel right. It just don't feel right. And then the guy later on is breaking up a fight with Ray J. That the person that they're telling us is the person that I thought he was growing into is the person that stopped the fight. But the person that they're talking about, that he's stuffing stuff up his nose, I don't see that person, and I don't see that traits of that person when I see Chris Brown on social media. And that's the reason why I came to that conclusion. It's not saying that she's wiping what she's saying out, but it's just saying that I didn't get that out of that, and I don't see that. Usually if you're addicted to something in your lifestyle, it will change the way you approach your fans, the way you in interviews and things like that, something will change and people can pick up on that. I don't really see that. I see Chris Brown when it comes to him. I see more his fight. His fight looked at more like trying to clean his reputation and show people who he is today in these times. But if that is what it is, then that's what it is. I can't tell you. But a smart man will say, you know, I'm trying to get a better light on myself, and I'm trying, so when people see me, they don't see me in that light. That's what I would think out of that situation. But you never know, with these weeks to come, people have more information coming up, so you just got to stay tuned and see what's going on. But that's what I take from that, because some celebrities get targeted too, and it's because the celebrities are in wrong as well, because they put themselves in these places where that, you know, people like that are, they can get to them a lot quicker. And that's not, you know, sometimes as a celebrity, you got to know that every party is not for you. Some parties are for the folks that's partying that way, and then some parties for you guys might be something that where it has a little more structure to it, an environment where every celebrity has their own bodyguards, and the place has more structure. It's more a place where violence is less chances to happen. And parties might be boring to you. So find a different way of entertaining yourself, because you cannot go back to the way where you're just bumping heads with average folk out there, and then people want something out of you besides what you're willing to give, and that's usually money. That's usually money. It's the same crap every time. There's a lot of people out here that all they can see is money within people. They just want to rob people and do things. It's money, money, money. If they did, sometimes all the things that you gave to the culture and the music, they when you in front of them, some of these people are so wicked, they're looking to rob you and forget about all the things that you inspire people with, your music or whatever you wrote. So you have to be cautious in these times on that, just looking from the, you know, the inside out, because it's not everybody that, you know, you don't just think that life is that easy to, you know. No, people are talking, and nowadays I see so many different lawsuits nowadays. People are, it's a sad thing in the culture, but people are just, it's a come up. People are trying to come up on people and talking and on people with bad information and just trying to make money. It's like that money don't last long either. They don't know that. If it's not true and the information's not true, no matter how much money you get, that money's gonna go as fast as it came. Trust me. That's how life works. If you don't do it the right way, or do it, and if something ain't about you, stay out of it. Everybody want to be in everybody's business, and I get it, because there's views behind it. But at the end of the day, there's certain things I just don't even tend to, because there's not enough information on it yet. It ain't about being first. It's just about knowing the right information and your take on it. That's it. That's it. People, when they don't have information, they start adding in their own and start making things up. That's when it gets ridiculous. That's when your truth turns into entertainment. That's what happens. That's what really happens, man. Let me see what else. I seen something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh. Also, don't forget to check out, you guys, after this. I'm going to have something that's, I'm going to be adding to the Redesign Your Mindset playlist this week. I'm going to have that coming, but don't forget to check out, I have something on jealous people and the energy of those people, how to know if your friends or anybody around you, sometimes his family is sad, that jealous energy, how to detect it and how to, you know, just stay away from it. And or even if you're stuck in it, like if it's in your work environment and they just never, you know, it's just little things they pick at you at work. Just know that it's there, and then know how to stay away from it in that environment. So sometimes you got to know how to like block in a small environment. Sometimes you can't get away from it. You just got to know how to take it in and put good energy back out. And don't mind them people, bad mind people, man. It's bad mind people out there. I'm telling you, it'd be the people close to you, because yeah. And I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it's like that, but it's kind of like, man, why you do that? Like, it be your own people. I feel, you know what? And like I said before, you know, the reason why we are sometimes, us as black folks, we get mad at each other. Sometimes sometimes it don't brew from hate. And I understand that part too, because we've seen our own people in these positions and do us dirty in those positions and look down and take advantage of their time there and blow it all for everybody. We've seen that. So having that energy, you just gotta know, is it that or is it this? You know, you gotta just know how to identify it, because that mistrust in our own, that didn't even start with us. That was here a long time. That's something that we inherited as time came, and just seeing some people, you know, like how they say, you know, the house N word, or you know, so that kind of come from that. But when you try to figure it all out, you start to realize, like, no matter what, like, it's kind of like this. I always put it in these terms. Just to let's bring it down to our times. If one person on your block got a Bentley, right? And they got the best house on the block, and nobody else, everybody else got hoopties. They can't afford that. It doesn't make that person feel, you shouldn't feel any good driving in that Bentley. You should want everybody in that town to rise up and have those types of same luxuries to make everything look good in that community, so that community could be worth something. If you're the only person in there, not only you become a target, it's sad you become a target, but at the end of the day, you don't become the nicest or the most, you know, like people are not going to really see you for who you are, even if you're the nicest person. And it's a reason for that, because if in our community, for us to grow, we have to grow together. We can't grow singly, because then it leaves a lot of other people saying, well, they ain't coming back. And they have so many examples of people not coming back and giving back, that statement could be true depending on what that person's move is. So you can't say that anything's wrong in that situation. You can only say, well, we have to wait and see. But when we grow together and we all coming up, oh, she's doing her hair, he's doing fashion, he's doing this, he's doing that. It's a community growth, and that's what everybody needs. And that's why that will make people not hate on each other. And that will make people say, you know what, I'm not hating on them because they doing their thing, I'm doing my thing. Why we hating? You know, like, some people don't even realize why they hating. They're like, damn, I'm hating on that person because they're happy and I'm trying to become happy myself. So when I get happy, somebody gonna hate on me? It don't make sense. So you gotta find yourself growing. That's why I feel like we all gotta grow, and everybody gotta grow together, or people gonna feel left out. And that's just how our community is. So many people that was in position that just took advantage of it. So I can't get mad at my own people for not believing in some people. I just be like, damn, I wish you could see it a little differently. But they be right too. That's just how it goes, you know. Yup. Best friends, you know, sometimes the growth within best friends could tip over. And sometimes you guys might find yourself back, but sometimes you just got to keep going, yo. Sometimes it's rooted, because you never know how a person, even if you came up from the dirt with somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean that the way y'all intake of the problems or whatever y'all been through, or the things that y'all might just be going along the way, y'all don't take it in the same. You might be best friends, but your achievements, the way you got over your hurdles might be offensive to them because of their pullback of whether their family or just the way they think. If that hurts them, they're not supposed to be a best friend anyway, yo. Sometimes you find your best friend in the more people you meet. Sometimes you find your best friend in other environments and things like that. You know, sometimes your best friend could be your lover. So it's just sad that sometimes you got to cut the wings off of some people, or just cut all that dead weight off of. But sometimes you just got to keep going. And if they're truly your best friend, they'll have some understanding. If they're not your real best friend, then they won't have any understanding at all. And they'll just be thinking of themselves, like, you know, still talking about you and you uplifting yourself or trying to see something different. It's like, oh, well, yo, don't ever you hold yourself back. You got too much and too much more life to live, and so many other new people to meet, that the moments that you are coming into, and the moments that you're gonna to experience, man, if she don't or he don't want to experience that with you, oh well. It's like, forget about it. Like, you just got to keep going. No way. Don't ever stay, because just because somebody, you know, and the older you get, you start realizing, wait, you don't, like, you start questioning, who's my best friend? And even if you don't get it at that point, you just know, like, for now, God is gonna be my best friend. Yep. That's who's my best friend. Yep. If they can't see it like you, or even give you some kind of understanding, or even when you try to come together and say, why you do this, why you do that, and they don't have no answers for it, well, hey, gotta keep it pushing. Gotta keep it pushing. As life as we know it. There's too many things going on. There's so much that new things that's gonna come up. Let me tell you, man, it ain't even worth it. Trust me. Sometimes you fall out with people, and some people have understanding about it. But I never go chase down people for what? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Not me, not you, not us. The more you chase people, the more you're looking for the wrong things. We are more like people should be chasing us because we have that energy that people should be around. We are the ones that people, when they say good people to be around, that's us. So, negative. Yeah, I know. See, that's the thing. People, they get so like, first of all, the negative energy, you see things different. Because sometimes, like me, I'm good enough to check myself. Sometimes it ain't always positive for me. Sometimes I just see the negative in things. And I've never let that guide me. But at the same point, it's a good balance to know. But when the person only sees the negative in things in you, and they only start picking out that, or they start like wanting you to do certain things only for them, or don't be around them and don't be around that, it's kind of like the problem's within them. That's their problem. That ain't your problem. You a light. Like I told you, everywhere you go around, people don't got no problems with you. It's just like the person that say, you know what, nah, they did doing this and that to me. And when you come around it, that never happens. Like, yeah, the problem is probably with them, because that person probably picked up on something that you're blinded to see because you're the best friend. And that's the reason why these type of things occur. Like sometimes you could have a friend, and you start realizing the things they saying, you like, I can't believe you think like that. Like, for real? A lot of people be around people and don't even know what type of friend they're around. And it's just because we just growing up, and we go in and we go in and we go in and meeting people and meeting people. But then when you start realizing the real value in friends and what kind of friends do you have, you're like, wait, hold on now. Do I have a group of toxic friends here? Because having just a group of toxic people all around, toxic, you're definitely gonna go in defense mode, and you definitely gonna be hiding things you do, and be hiding your accomplishments and the things you want to do. You're not gonna speak them into existence, because saying them out so loud is probably gonna offend one of these people. It's like, nah, no way, no way. Trust me, when you want things to happen, you gotta speak it in existence. And yo, these people might hear, oh well. When they see it happening for you, they act like they don't know, or they don't believe what's going down. But yo, that's God. That's God. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see that? And she blocking up her page and doing all of this funny stuff. Those are funny movements. Like, why you going so hard? Like, it takes it, think about it. It takes steps to be like, okay, so now she's thinking about it. Okay, block, block, block. It's kind of like, you see, if you turn that around and put that in a different situation, this was gonna occur in this is just the first 101 of that. The way she acted, or he act, that's just her 101 of that. The more you keep with her, these situations are gonna happen in different events, and they're gonna keep getting worse and worse. The same way she reacted to that gonna be the same way she react to most of her problems. So you gotta get away from her as quick as possible, and be thankful she blocked you. Because let me tell you something. You know when you gonna realize that it's hurting her? When she unblock you. When she unblock you. Because you're not the person that she's spewing out to all of these people, talking all the nonsense and talking about, oh, he ain't this, or she ain't that, or so-and-so ain't this, or so-and-so did that. When then people say, wait, let me just go check her out all this time, the person you're talking about. And when they go check, and they take a glance, they wait, hold on. It's her. So don't worry about when she block you. Worry when she unblock you. Blocking you is a peace of mind for you. Don't pay no mind to her. And guess what? For that, just that awareness, God will send you a new best friend. You see how life works? That's how life works. That's how life works. The more and more you do, and you keep going, you're gonna find somebody like, you know what? Somebody did that. My best friend did the same thing to me, and y'all become linked up and best friends. And as the story goes, y'all better friends. And you look back at that situation. Now you like, you know what? Let me block her because I don't want her, to think I'm doing too good. You know? She start thinking you doing too good. She start losing her mind. You don't want none of that karma near you. You just like whatever. You just lost somebody good. See, when you good spirited and you're a benefit to people's lives and you're a benefit to people's presence, people want you around. They want to hear more from you. But when you're like that, people want to get away from you. That's why them they gonna have to stay and keep hiding and doing the blocking, this and that. She gonna be it ain't just you. She probably gonna be blocking a whole bunch of other people that swear they her best friend. That whole thing is gonna keep going on, man. Block queen, don't worry about. You just keep pushing and keep shining your light. You beautiful. You keep going and you keep showing your real self. And the more they talk and do whatever she got to do behind that blocking, it's not gonna amount up to who you really are as a person. Trust when I tell you. Yeah, you smart. You smart. Sometimes you gotta let him go. You gotta let him go. I never know. I'm not gonna know. Mm-mm. If you are who they say you are, why, we'll see how things work out. That's my whole thing. If you like anybody, I don't pay no mind to people saying, oh, he's this or he's that. I wouldn't even know. I don't know how they speak, but I know when if somebody ever wants to check it out, what those people are saying, or do some investigation on who I really am, then they're not going to get that out of this. You're not going to ever get that. Or even if you bump into the people outside of social media and ask about me, you will never ever get what these people say. And that's the real, when you know that you're being your truthful self, and you don't got to do a whole bunch of put filters and all this nonsense around your name just so people can tune in or say something about you that you feel like is worth it. That stuff ain't worth it. Yeah, because as you get older, you know what happens is people go through situations and they start taking in all they hurt and they start dishing it out on people as they get older. Everything is cool when it's in a controlled environment, but when you got to go out there and start making decisions for yourself, and the people that you're around, is all depends on who you are, that's when things start getting different. That's when things start getting different. Everywhere I go, every job I've ever been in, I've always been a light to the people around me. I always kept good friends in everywhere I went. It's never a place where I just go and people are like, oh, he's this or so and so did that today. Never, ever in my entire life. It doesn't matter what culture you are from. I became friends with so many people from different cultures that it's beyond me when I even look back. So I can't see. It's when you're not a light and you're this interruption in everybody's lives. It becomes part of your who you are as a person. And people, when they identify that, nobody wants to stay around those people. You see, because that's all she can remember, bringing up the guys and you probably done moved on, and probably, you see, as time will go, what people don't understand, your growth sees different in people. The person that you might have liked when it was younger, you might have liked them because of maybe their style, or that maybe what they were doing at a certain point. Maybe they were cool for a certain amount of people around, and you pick that person out. But the trick to life is when you grow older, you see different types of men, different types of benefits. See, females come to nurture and make this big amounts of money. Yeah, money has nothing to do with the part of the family. So what you're looking for when in a man, when you get older, is not the same thing you're gonna be looking for at a boy when you were younger. So the older you get, you want more stability. And when I say stability, not meaning money, somebody, a companionship that if you break your leg or something should happen to your features, they're gonna always be there. You're looking for forever. All of those stuff that they're complaining about or saying that you used to be, or the guy that, those are all, That's short-term stuff. Those are moments in time that this was once part of your life. As you move on and go better up, she could talk about that person, and you can talk about that person too. You can say, yeah, he was cool. I'm not even having no problems with him. It's like that. It was just a moment in time. That's just life. It's like you're gonna look back at that guy and with another guy, and you be like, it'll just be a little giggle inside of your head, like, I can't believe that. Everything is, I can't believe that when you're going up and you're doing good for people, and you'll find there's more in men than just what that is. And that's no disrespect to him, because he'll become a different person too as well and grow into loving somebody else. But at the same point, you're gonna see different points and what makes people who they really are. Because you're coming up in a time of social media putting the blur, you're going to understand to identify what's behind the blur. You'll have enough to support everything that you want for yourself. What you'll be looking for will be something that you can't buy. And that's when you'll find what true love is all about. So those are people that you liked and people that liked you. And they can talk about you as much as they want and say the worst as they want. But they'll never reflect you, because you are you. And the way you go out there, you always leave that light with people. He know that. She don't know that. She probably was hating the whole time. She was hating the whole time. I bet you. And then she started realizing when she stopped liking him too, because that, I don't know, nobody likes to talk about that. Best friends becoming too close best friends, liking the same guy, because both of y'all like, it's just like, sometimes the best friends get too close, they think alike, everything, and then they'll end up liking the same person. So sometimes the ones, when you start feeling the gushy stuff, you want to separate it a little bit from your best friend, just a little. Don't tell everything, just a little. You know, and then the more you say, oh, he's all right, that's when you know, wait, hold on, I might have somebody I love here. Let me just make sure, you know, the best friends that have to like shoot out, oh, I love him, don't do this to him. Those are the ones you feel like you don't really got him yet. So when you know it's solid, and that people will look on into what you got going on and make it worth watching, because a lot of people out here, they're looking for it, but they can't find it because they don't have it inside of them to even have it attracted to them. You'll know what you want. You'll know what you want. Trust me, you'll know what you want. After a while, you're like, you know what? Nah. There's no instructions to that. And the more she keep thinking and talking bad on you, she wouldn't even be able to find herself. Talking about some best friend. That ain't how a best friend's supposed to act. I'll tell you that. Best friend like that. Who needs enemies, right? It's sad out there. People, they got to know how to control themselves and their energy. And sometimes you just pray for them people, because you never know if that what she lost with your friendship, that might be coming from something that's going on in her life. So you pray for her too. You never know what's going on in other people's life too. So some people are just malicious though. See, oh, she's searching for something that she's not even ready to attract. It happens all the time. Let her keep searching while yours will come to you. That's how life works. That's how it works. Trust me. But I love you guys, man. I'm gonna work on a new video today for you guys. It's something that I've been brewing up, but it takes a lot. You're the best. I promise you. You're the best. You're opening the way you open yourself up, it lets me know that you hurt too. Like you didn't like the fact that, you know, you called somebody that was your best friend and now you don't call them that person. But that's how life works. You understand the little bits in the little tidbits in the middle. That's the stuff that you're gonna have to take with you and keep pushing. Trust me, friendship, don't put too much on. It's not just about just friendship. It's us as human beings, the people we communicate. And the younger you are, the people that you have stronger people around you, you're going to grow and you're going to know the difference between other bad people around you. Trust me when I tell you, she ain't your best friend. You thought she was your best friend, but that wasn't your best friend. A lot of people say best friend this, best friend that, but your best friend will come to you. Trust me, you'll know the difference. I love you guys, man. Thank you for showing up all the time, showing up for me. I'm always going to show up for you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope the energy was good. I hope it's something you can take in this information or our conversation along with you and just, you know, become a better you. That's what I'm trying to become a better me. Sometimes my head goes wild and I do things myself. Nobody is perfect, and we got to see things for what they are and just have better understanding on things the way things are out here nowadays. Love you guys, and yeah, just stay tuned, man. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and like this video up. That's what makes the video go around. Please give me a like or two. Love you, and yeah, stay up. I get up.